Hey, it's the old man here, and got you know who here. You got the sunshine, you got fresh straw, so it's story time. Um, yeah, I had a couple more stories about headstones and that general subject. Um, yeah, it's a sad subject, but it's something that's done, and I got some good stories to tell about it. When I was cleaning headstones, uh, I was at a cemetery, and they had the workers that were there were straightening up a crooked headstone, and at the base it might have been 3, 4 feet square, and then it was probably 6 feet tall, and amongst all the stuff that was on there was a carved handshake. Um, Very cool looking. So they're digging along, and I went over, we were talking, and they dug below the ground level, and here was a dirty spot that didn't really belong there. And so I always had a pump up sprayer with soap and water, and went over there and scrubbed it, and here was a practice handshake that whoever carved that stone down below the ground level had carved a handshake. I thought it was pretty good idea. Yeah, you don't want to mess up, you know, above the ground. So here it was, and back then nobody had cameras or nothing. I wish we would have had a camera. I could have took a picture of it, because it was, it might have been, the two hands together might have been 1.5 feet maybe, or something. It was a pretty big deal. Yeah, smart move. You don't want to mess up like that, because a big tall one especially, it's a big gamble. I mean, you're chipping away and doing all that stuff, and it was way back, I can't remember what the date was, 1910, maybe in the 1800s, I'm not sure, but smart person to figure that one out. Yeah, yeah, better safe than sorry. And another one of my favorite cemeteries, I got a few, but in Seattle, up on Capitol Hill, is a big cemetery. I think it was the very first one. And I like it because when you drive there to get to it, it's chaos. It's traffic and noise and all of that. And as soon as you pull in the gate, yeah, it's a breath of fresh air. There's no traffic. There's, a few cars here and there, but it's a nice one. And up at the very tip top of the hill is the big names, Mercer, Renton. I can't think of others right off the top of my head, but Bruce Lee is there. I can't remember who else. Jimi Hendrix is in Renton, and I've been to that one, and actually got a rubbing off of the stone when it was just a headstone. Now they have a big production that they've built and did a bunch of stuff. And yeah, at that, I asked the guy when I got to the cemetery, "Where's Jimi Hendrix at?" And he goes, "Oh, just park over there in the corner and follow the path." And here was a worn path to it, and at the stone were bottles of beer and all kinds of other forms of intoxication. Yeah, he died real young. Too bad. South of us, there's a big town, and I'm going to be as vague as possible because the stone I'm talking about is one of the biggest families in that town. And without exaggeration, it's bigger than our house. 60 feet tall, and the base of it could be 120 feet square. I mean, it's huge. It has like a 5-foot base that's flat, and then on top of that is like a pyramid, and it was made out of blocks of granite from back east. The story I heard that it 1 stone per carload, and I don't know how many hundreds it took to build that thing, but it's a big, big stone, and it was dedicated to his mother. And on it, there's like it's a mausoleum, I guess, with a door to get into it. Was a life-size brass statue of his mother, and during the Depression somebody stole it and melted it down, I suppose. And you can still see where they cut it off, and it's been hammered down so it's flush. Yeah, he wanted to send his mom out right, and that's quite a headstone. When I was cleaning them, I approached the family and offered to clean it for free, just for a before and after picture, but they were like, no way. They're very private, and that's okay. But yeah, what a headstone. And you can climb up to the top, take the steps up there. And one of the stories I heard was that young kids would go down there on a Friday night and bring their girlfriend, and rats. I might sit out here with my 22 next time. I'll get them. So yeah, they climb up to the top, and at the very top, on the north and the south side, were like in old parts of town, there's like glass tiles, I guess, on the ground to put light into the underground Seattle or whatever town you're in. And so at the top of that were an area about this big of those glass things, and over the years kids had broke them and they never bothered to fix them. And the story I heard was that they would bring their girlfriends down, and one person would be on one side and the girlfriend and his other guy were at the other side, and tell the girls or whatever, you can hear the ghosts and stuff. So somebody on the other side would moan or whatever it was, and I'm sure it was very convincing because it was probably echoed and everything else in there and stuff. But seems like people have always done that. There was an Indian cemetery by SeaTac that we looked for it. I couldn't find it, but the older guys in the neighborhood said they would bring people down there to spook them on a Friday night. Who knows what the deal was. But yeah, what a headstone that thing is. I can't imagine how many train loads it took to bring that stuff from back east. Say granite blocks that might have been 4 feet square and 12 feet long or something, and then to stack it all back in those days. I suppose they had cranes, but still, it was a very involved job, we'll say that. Man, that would be a big job. Fences. If you go to a cemetery and you see fences around headstones or a group of headstones, I thought it was just for ornamental purposes maybe, but no, it was for, back in the old days, it was common to let cows graze in the cemetery just to keep the grass down. And if there's cows, there's cow manure, so people that didn't want there's headstones to get fowls, they would put a nice wrought iron fence around it. Smart idea. Yeah, because well, you know, cows aren't planning ahead. I'm just looking at the wildlife here. Anyway, came to Christmas. Yeah, I'd have a good shot. I see Mama with some little babies. Well, at least they're well fed, I'll say that. Yeah, and then if you go to cemeteries very much, there's these one specific kind of headstones that are made by a fraternal organization called the Woodsmen of the World or the Woodsmen of America. And it was an insurance policy plus a fraternal group, like the Elks or the Masons or whatever. And I think part of the deal is you got a really nice headstone, and every one of them is a tree stump, a very detailed tree stump. It's got, you know, grainy bark. It's got, I got notes over here, I gotta read them. Flowers, ferns, doves, ivy, tools, axes, or different kind of things like that. Chain, rope, and it's all on a tree stump. And there's branches that are cut off. Yeah, of all the headstones I've seen, they were the most detailed. And I looked it all over, and I don't know what kind of stone it is. It's not sandstone and it's not granite, but it's strong enough to where they can carve, you know, pretty small little detailed things, and it doesn't break off. A sandstone is pretty brittle, and you could break that off pretty easy. I don't know what kind of stone it is, but they're very impressive. Yeah, ivy growing up around it, or a chain hanging over the top, or an axe leaning up against it. It's yeah, it's quite a sight to see. I don't know, they're still in business, but I don't know if the headstone is part of the deal. I've never seen a new one. But yeah, whoever carves that really put some time into it, because and the same thing, the gamble. If you're carving a chain and you're doing I'm just looking at over there again. Yeah, you're carving a chain or something, and you hit the wrong part and it breaks off. Well, now you either got to start over or adapt, and I'm sure that happened a lot to fabricate stuff. And yeah, it's a gamble, because yeah, you know, and then shipping it. How did they do it? How did they bring them out there in the 1900s? A buckboard, I'm sure. And then just to get it off the buckboard to the ground would be a big job. You'd have to put, I'm guessing, maybe 3 big tree type things, make a pyramid, so to speak, and a block and tackle, and a lot of manpower to move all that stuff. But they did it, and often when I go to cemeteries, I see a stone that was placed in 1910 or 19 whatever. I stand there and look around and think, well, what was this like in 1910? This was probably, a lot of them were out of town. There probably wasn't any houses around, and I look at the trees that are there. They could have just been seedlings, and now they're 200 feet tall. And maybe not that tall, but you know what I mean, big trees. Yeah, it's an interesting subject. Yeah, it took a lot of work, a lot of thought. It's good to show respect, and yeah, there's some really fancy stones. That one on Capitol Hill had some really high-end stones. One was like a little house made out of granite, I suppose, and had a roof and a chimney, and they spent a lot of money on that one. And the last story is another finger story. Up in Bellingham, it's a college town, and he's closed shop now, but when I was first starting out, very few people would talk to me, and he was one of them that would talk to me. And his shop was in the old part of town and had a little office, and offside of that was a covered courtyard with like a wrought iron fence, and in that fenced area was upright headstones, maybe 20 of them. And so he comes to work Monday and looks down the road, and here's one of his headstones laying on the sidewalk. And this happened before. Drunk kids, so steal a headstone. Okay, that sounds like fun at the time. And so he gets the hand truck and a wedge and a hammer, a plastic wedge, so you can pound under the stone to get it up enough to where you can put tools under it, or if it's small enough, you can muscle it up. And he goes down there and brings all the tools and pounds the wedge in there, and they flip it up, and here's a human finger underneath it. And I said, wow. And I go, what did you do? And he goes, well, nothing. He goes, that guy paid dearly. Yeah, evidently dropped it and bang, cut it right off. I mean, it's dangerous moving those stones. They're 300 pounds, maybe more, 400 pounds. Sharp edges, that's all it took. So yeah, they never called the cops, didn't do anything. They just wrote it off as bad luck for whoever that was. Whoever had lost that finger will have a story to tell their grandkids. I said, what'd you do with the finger? And he goes, nothing. They just kicked it into the drain on the side of the street and put her back, and apparently forgot all about it. Yeah, you got to be careful moving those things. And yeah, things happen, you know. I think we've all done stuff that liquored up that you look back and think, what was I thinking about? And I'm sure that guy may look at his hand every day and think about it. Yeah, he paid dearly. So thanks for stopping by. Got some work to do. It's supposed to get now he's drinking water out of lady's thing there. I'll get him. Yeah, it's supposed to be up to the 80s tomorrow, into the mid-90s, so I like that. Yeah, get all your things done in the morning, and if you really want to get busy, go into late afternoon. Yeah, there's two little ones. Little shits. Oops, sorry. Little rats. Yeah, I have tried, I bet you I've tried 15 different kinds of traps. Snap traps, drop traps, you name it. I haven't tried snares. That might work, but you know, and if they stay out here, I don't mind it too much. But when I see a whole family of them, it's time I got to do something. Yeah, I'm counting right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little babies, and all of them can have kids. Yeah, I got to do something. So anyway, enjoy the sunshine. Stay safe. Wash your hands and all that stuff. Pray for America. Pray for our country. Yeah, interesting times, I'll say that. So, yeah, you guys take care, and thanks for stopping by. Where'd Lady go? She's back there. She's got her shady spot. She knows how to deal with it, because with a down jacket on, I'm sure it is hot when it's like this. But I keep the water full and clean, and she can take a shower, I guess, anytime she wants. Yeah, take care. And once again, thank you for watching to the very end. You take care. And thanks for the thumbs up if you think I deserve it. See you later.